What up, Facebook Live family and friends? Elliot Andre, the head therapist here with a brand new hat. Just bought it today. Woo! Love
Nice.
it. Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I just saw it and I was like, I couldn't resist.
Yankees.
Yeah, it's like a Yankees D-League team or something. Anyhow, enough about me. Got a super great interview today with my friend and colleague, Jennie Rindler, everybody. This is Jennie's first time. So thumbs up if you've ever been in a position where this is the first time you did something and it was nervous, yet you killed it. Because that's what we're about to do.
Gonna kill it.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. Jennie, please take it away. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, what makes you special.
Oh boy. Okay. So I'm Jennie Rindler. I'm a psychotherapist here in Boulder, and that's kind of half of my practice. The other half is doing Reiki energy healing for folks, and I also communicate with their spirit guides. So spirit guide communication and Reiki don't necessarily have to go together.
Okay.
And none of it has to go with psychotherapy,
Sure.
but
it's all connected in some ways.
it can be all connected.
Sure.
We're just learning more and more and more about the mind, body, spirit connection. And so having practitioners who practice multi-modalities that address all of these aspects of our lives, it can only be beneficial for people.
Absolutely. I think it's so cool that we're having this conversation, because when I moved to Boulder as a Chicagoan, I was like, what's Reiki? And what is anything to do with the spirit, mind, or body? I had no idea. So I'm learning as much as everybody else out there is today what you really do. So I'm stoked, super stoked, actually. I'm very, very excited. So when you're talking about Reiki, or Reiki, sorry.
That's okay.
I don't know how to speak English today, apparently. What is it? I know nothing about it, and I'm sure a lot of people out there don't either. So if you could give us kind of a synopsis of what that looks like, how you bring that into practice, and maybe like some real life experiential stuff would be really cool too.
Sure. So Reiki is a Japanese form of energy healing, and it's composed, the word Reiki is really two words, Rei, meaning the universe, the divine, and Ki, which also people might have heard it before as Chi, right? In Chinese medicine or in yoga, we call it prana. That's our life force, our life's energy.
Got it.
So Reiki is our life energy, kind of as we're in connection with the divine, with our own divine selves.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So when we're doing Reiki, we're receiving it, or when I'm channeling it, we're just moving this divine energy. And sometimes people aren't so keen on the word divine. We can just think about it as our own highest life force, right? Or from our own selves.
Sure.
We're just moving that energy around in order to have optimal health. So sometimes, how sometimes you might feel stuck. Like, I have something I want to accomplish and I just can't get there, and I don't know why, right?
Yeah.
So that's stuck energy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's stuck energy, and we need to just kind of move that through. It's the same way that sometimes, you might have a cold and it takes a while to get over it. That's stuck energy too.
Okay. So what does that look like?
Oh, well, I don't know what it looks like.
But seriously though, how would you explain that to somebody? Like, when I think of stuck energy, I'm like, I'm going to go exercise, in that regard. So when you're actually performing this ritual, what does that look like?
What does it look like when I do it? I thought you meant, what is the energy?
No,
like?
not the
I don't
energy.
know. I can't see it with my eyes. I don't know.
Right. In the sense of if the client came in and they're like, I have stuck energy, what would you do tangibly?
Right.
What tools would you use? What materials? I know nothing.
Yeah. So a Reiki session looks like this. You come into the office, and then, and it can be done long distance. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit later. But so let's say we're doing an in-person session. You come into the office and fully clothed, you lay down on a massage table and get all cozy with blankets. And then my training has allowed me to channel this Reiki energy. And so I place my hands on different parts of the client's body with permission, of course. Yep. Reiki can also be done just within the energy field, like the aura, right? Just a few inches away from the body. So we don't have to do hands-on touch if someone's not comfortable with that. And I always ask. It's really important. I mean, our comfort, client's comfort is the most important thing. So I place my hands on different parts of the body or in the energy field, and I just see what I feel. So I can feel stuck energy through my hands. And
that's impressive.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't even know what that feels like. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, you know how when you meet somebody, sometimes you might think, oh, this person has good energy, or this person has bad energy, or maybe this room or this situation, right? We can kind of have a sense of that having good or bad energy. So sensing stuck energy in a person's, a specific area of a person's energy field, it's just a subtler form of the exact same thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think that helps clarify for me, and I think a lot of people out there for sure. Awesome.
Yeah, we're all aware of energy in certain ways, and the more that we tune into it, the more we can access those subtle cues.
So that seems like a lot of your training was like really focusing on that essence of like what an energy field is, how you can access it, what it feels like, what it doesn't feel like. So how would you explain that again? Like in a sense, like when I'm thinking of like feeling an energy field, like I'm near somebody, I feel it, like I get it, but like I want to know like what that experience is like for you.
For me,
yeah,
so
because you're the one like holding that space,
right? Yeah. Well, first things first, I have to get myself into a safe space to be able to do all of this work, and so my meditation practice is really important to me. I have to make sure that I'm not bringing any of my own stuff, right? My own baggage into the session, which of 100%. Course, we all have baggage. We're all going to have it with us to some degree. But so that's what my training has given me, is the ability to kind of figure out what's mine and what's my clients, and how can I not pass anything along, right?
Yeah, I can see that would be powerful though, in the sense if you did bring shit into your own session, like how that would, like just through you, right? In some regards, it might be really difficult.
Yeah, well, that's why training is so important.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have lots of techniques that I do to bring myself into what I call the healing space, and I help my clients come into a receiving space so that they can just be open and relaxed and feel safe for me to access their energy, for us to connect in that way. And so then I just sort of use the chakras as my guide. So have you heard of the chakras? You're older now.
I know what they are, but yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, finally figured it out. Okay, so we got the chakras, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So for anyone who doesn't know, the chakras are not actual physical things in our bodies. You couldn't see them if we did, like we were looking in a cadaver lab or something like that.
Unless we like pulled them out or...
Can't pull them out.
Okay.
So these are energetic locations, right, that do correspond with certain parts of the body, and also with all areas of our life. So like, for example, the throat chakra has to do with our communication, different ways that we listen and speak to others and to ourselves, how we express ourselves in the world through our creativity. Our heart chakra, you can guess what that one's all about.
I mean, tell me. I want to guess, but I want you to tell people.
Right.
Yes, very good.
Right.
Love.
We have chakras that have to do with emotions, that have to do with our relationships.
Go through all of them, please. I think it'd be very helpful, honestly.
All right. So I'll start. We have 7 major chakras. So I'll just talk about those. The first one is known as the root chakra. And physically, this is located at the base of the spine and the pelvic floor, that area. This is our first formed chakra. It forms when we're in utero. And so it has to do with kind of basic stuff, our sense of security, our basic needs, like shelter, food, money. Unfortunately, major need for all of us, right? And then sometimes we wish that we didn't have to focus so much on it.
Of course.
And our fears are kind of manifested and metabolized there in the root chakra. And then moving up from there, we go to the sacral chakra, the second chakra, and this one has to do with our sexuality and our emotions, right? Third chakra is in the solar plexus area. This is our power center. So it has to do with our self-esteem and how we express our sense of personal power, or don't, right? How we don't express our sense of our own power in the world. Moving up from the third chakra, we have the fourth, the heart, that we mentioned before, right? And by the way, this is like just such a neat little tidbit. The shoulders, arms, and hands are all extensions of the heart chakra. Okay. And that's why hugs feel so good. That's why touch.
I love a good hug.
Right?
Yes.
That's why touch feels so good.
Yeah. I was going to ask anyways, but thank you.
We just connected heart chakras for a moment there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then we've got the throat chakra, number 5. And like I said before, communication, creativity again, because creativity is one way that we express ourselves to the world.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
Yeah. Then we've got the third eye chakra, number 6 right there. The third eye chakra has to do with what we see, and also what we see with our inner eye, right? So our sense of intuition.
Right. Yeah, like our sixth sense, we'll say. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I wonder if it's called the sixth sense because this is the sixth chakra. I don't even know.
I don't doubt it.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Learning something new every day.
Love it.
Right. Okay.
And then we've got number 7 right up here, the crown chakra. And the crown chakra is where we're connected with spirit, the universe, God, the great unknown, the big J, you know, whatever it is that you believe in. You know, some people don't believe in any of those externally kind of focused words to do with that big mystery, but some people like to just call it my highest self. I like that one a lot.
I do too. I can connect with
that. Yeah. So that's it. That's our 7 major chakras. And so when I'm doing a Reiki session, I can use all of the information that I can gain from accessing each of those chakras to give somebody a really holistic clearing of their energy. And not only does Reiki clear out stuck energy, it also helps to balance energies in the body, and it can also heal.
Okay.
Right? So
what does that look like?
Well, I'll give you a couple examples.
Please.
So the other day I had a client came in and she was all of a sudden, her ankle was all swelled up. It hurt really bad. She was up all night the night before with pain from it. She had no idea. She didn't trip. She didn't fall, nothing. So I worked on her ankle for a while, just put my hands on it and channeled Reiki, and she felt better. I have to check in on her, actually. That was a few days ago. I want to see how she's doing.
That's like magic. What the hell?
Magic, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Or my friend yesterday, she's getting a migraine. So I held her head and channeled Reiki, and her migraine went away.
Sorry, that's fucking insane. Sorry, excuse my French people, but that, like, what?
I know.
Amazing.
I know. It is amazing. It is amazing. And
incredible.
I'm amazed by it every single time, too. I'm not going to lie. It is. It's amazing. And then to move to more subtle things, gosh, I have a client who struggles with getting over I have many clients actually who struggle with getting over past relationships, right? That's a big challenge.
A big part of mental health comes into as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We can really dwell on our hurt, our wounding, senses of, betrayal, the longing when we miss someone, all of those things, they're very sticky, right? And so Reiki can not only help to kind of release our energetic attachments to people and situations from our past, it can also offer healing. I know I told you earlier that Reiki means universal life energy. Another term that I often use to describe Reiki is unconditional love of the universe. And that's just what it feels like to me.
What you're describing, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah. And so just using my own intention, I just sort of like put that flavor of healing on the Reiki. And, in my training, I've learned certain techniques also, that can address specific needs that people might have. Again, sort of putting that, specific flavor of what a client might need on the Reiki that they're receiving.
But I think, like you said, it's holistic and it's individualistic.
You got it.
I'm trying to the client. I totally understand that in the sense of what I do as well. It's always about the client first, meeting where they're at, what they need, and really being attuned to that. And our intuition as practitioners is such a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Putting our shit at the door is like the biggest thing I try to tell myself every day.
Right. It's not about me.
Right. So it seems like you do that on like a whole nother level.
Well,
you have to. It seems like in the sense of like what you provide for that person.
Yeah, well, we can really transmit a lot of our own stuff through touch. Totally. And so, it's really important that I'm keeping my side of the street clean, so to speak.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think it's such an integral part of what you're doing now and providing that space for people, because I don't think a lot of people would really understand, maybe until now, again, maybe the followers that I have or the people that I work with, like what that actually looks like.
Yeah.
So thank you for explaining that, because it's really helpful in my own journey of like what I want to do next for my own mental health or healing in that regard. So I appreciate that a lot. How do you incorporate yoga into your practice?
Well, I teach people, so I've been a yoga teacher since 2011.
Okay.
I teach gentle practices, slow vinyasa yoga, and I don't even know if what I teach can be considered vinyasa yoga anymore at this point. I get slower and slower. As my practice advances, I'm just like, I want to do less and less. But, I think that's the way it goes. A lot of the time we go from the gross to the more subtle.
Sure. But I'm sure clients love that. I mean, who wants to go to like a super, to me, yoga isn't about like the exercise. It's part of it, but it's really more so about the spiritual connection of like feeling where I am in my body personally.
No, absolutely. And you can get what you need from it. So on those days when you're just really needing to like sweat and like really like burn off something, you can go to that type of class, right? And then on the days where you really just need to go inside and find, your inner peace, then you can go to those types of classes. So there's really something for everyone.
Do you teach more of the latter, or do you? Yeah.
I teach more of the latter.
So how would you? So our viewers out there, who does yoga? Yeah, thumbs up, right? Who does yoga? 97,000% of the people in Boulder, right? So I think I want to hear about Jennie's experience and that, maybe bring in your own personal experience of what that looks like, because I feel like it's such, like the way that you're describing what you're doing with yoga, Reiki and everything, it seems like it's such a integral part of people's mental health. Like I feel like why would I not want to see you? Like, I'm being honest. Like you're not even selling it, and I'm like, yeah. I want to do that.
Come on in.
Yeah.
So yoga is it's been an amazing part of my own journey. I started out with yoga just like many people do. I just thought it sounded like a cool form of exercise. I'm not like a gym rat type.
Neither am I.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, I don't know, wear the cool clothes. Have Jennifer Aniston's cute yoga butt.
Oh, me too. All about it.
Who doesn't want that cute
butt?
My God. So that's how I got into it. And that's how most people get into yoga, just for the physical practice of it. And then as you go to class, if your teachers are, not every teacher talks about the spiritual side of it, but a lot of teachers do. And even if you're not going for that spiritual teaching, it's going to start to kind of like trickle in, and you start to get more of a holistic perspective from the yoga. And so it really has become my spiritual practice in so many ways.
Do you suggest it to clients as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And I'll teach clients poses that are relaxing. Like, I don't know if you've ever have you heard of legs up the wall pose?
No, but that sounds great.
Yeah, so you can lie down, and in my office I don't necessarily have a whole ton of wall space or props to get everyone comfortable, which I like to prop everybody up. But I want to start a yoga clothing business called Mad Props.
You should.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now.
Right, we'll do it.
I'll back you.
Take my idea.
I would never. Okay.
But so anyways, but yeah, you can lie down on the floor and put your lower legs up on your couch.
Okay.
And just lay there and breathe, and you will be amazed at how relaxed you get.
Who's doing this right now?
Yeah.
If I wasn't talking to her, I would be.
So you got to scoot your bottom right up to the couch.
Love it.
That's the scooching motion.
Yes, I saw that.
And your whole lower legs, not just your feet. You don't want to put pressure on the backs of your knees. Anyways, your whole lower legs goes up on the couch. Getting your legs up in the air like that, does wonders to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, to activate that relaxation response in the body. So if I have a client in a psychotherapy session and, they're really talking about a stressful situation, getting themselves worked up, maybe they've gotten to a point where, talking isn't really productive anymore, why don't we get down on the ground and breathe together for a while and see where that takes us, So I'll teach people simple things like that they can do at home. Or in a Reiki session, when you're lying on the massage table, there are certain positions you can put your arms and legs into, that are very passive yoga poses that'll do the same thing, that will bring you from a dysregulated state into a peaceful state. And it's a really beautiful thing.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly, just imagining seeing a client, who comes in, super wound up or frustrated or or just in a place that they feel like they don't want to be. There's a lot of self-judgment involved, and just saying like, I would do that with them right now. Just in the sense of just trying to calm that body down. Because I feel like a lot of times, we'll say, for what I do, what I know, CBT, DBT skills, a lot of people buy into it, but sometimes it's not, when they're at their peak, what feels right. So just to lay down, I feel like it's such a subtle way to really perpetuate that idea of calm feeling.
Yes.
And really allowing their body to just kind of be where you are. And that. So I appreciate that. I think it's awesome.
And my favorite thing about it is that clients can do it at home.
Right.
It's so simple.
Free.
It's free. You can do it anywhere. Or like meditation exercises that I teach, or breathing exercises that I teach people. All of it is simple. It's always with the intention that you don't need me to get yourself into a relaxed state. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if a client really wants to come in for an hour Reiki session and get the relaxation that I can offer them through that, then wonderful, please come in.
Right.
But if you can get yourself calmed down in 5 minutes by just doing some simple breathing exercise, even 30 seconds, right? Then why not? I'm going to give my clients all of the tools that I can to empower them to be able to practice on their own.
I love that. And you said 30 seconds, so I'm going to challenge you to show people out there what a 30-second calming breathing sensation would look like.
Sure.
You mind?
Sure. Oh,
I'll do it with you.
I'm happy to.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it together. Okay.
So,
check close my eyes.
Yeah, let's close our eyes and just take a moment to sink your seat down onto the cushion and let the crown chakra, now that you know where that is, let that rise gently upward. And we'll just notice the breath. Notice your breath moving in and out of your nose. You don't have to do anything fancy with your breath right now. You can just let it move through you. Soften your eyebrows. Soften your jaw. Soften the root of your tongue. Notice that your breath moves into your body and your breath moves out of your body. Your body responds with subtle movements, expansion for the inhales, softening for the exhales.
I'm going to take a nap. I'll see you later. That was awesome. Yeah. That was like a minute and a half, but it's okay.
That was not, was it? Well, I get carried away.
I think the one thing that I just enjoyed about that so much was just the calmness of the room with just your voice and just trusting that I could to go through that with you and just really feel comfortable and
so
safe.
Glad.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm glad to hear
That's
that I was
awesome.
able to give you that experience.
Yeah, in just a minute and a half or 30 seconds or whatever we
like
did.
That, we'll
that was
later.
great. I love that. Right, exactly. Very good. So let's talk about this idea about the spirit.
Sure.
Because I think it's something that I think you also incorporate fully into your practice and what that looks like. So how are you guiding people to find that?
To find their own spirit guides?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Or what that looks like again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I'll start with, my beginnings. I'll just say, disclaimer, I didn't grow up really believing in any of this stuff.
Okay.
I believed when I was younger that maybe there were a few people, here and there who were born who had a gift of, being psychic or, being a medium and able to talk to, spirits and that kind of thing. And then I thought that, most of the people who were saying that they could do that stuff were like, remember Madame Cleo?
Like on TV
the 1-900 number. Yeah. I thought that, most people were like, fraudulent and just trying to, pull one over on people, scamming people. Yeah. But then what I ended up learning is that we all have the ability to access our higher self, whether we think of that higher self, whether we think of our guides as our higher self guiding us, or if it's, something else that's maybe more external in a subtle way. we all have the ability. And so once I started going through my Reiki trainings, and I guess I have a little story about this on my website, when I did Reiki level 2, all of a sudden I started receiving messages from spirit guides, and I had never received these messages before. Yeah. And I was freaked out, to say the least. I called my teacher and I was like, what's going on?
Help!
Yeah. She was like, it's okay.
Wow.
It's okay. This is, not that unusual and totally unexpected for me. And I was not born with this, it wasn't like, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Like, when you turn 13, you're going to have these powers, right? So, so she advised me to take some classes at, of course, here in Boulder, Colorado, we have 2 different psychic schools you can go to. And
Boulder!
So I went to the Psychic Horizon Center, and I took some classes, and I learned how to access this side of my being with intention, right? So that I could control, when do I get these messages and when do I not? And as I practiced more and more, I began to see more and more uses, for how I could help people, help my clients.
My mind is just blown right now. Just tell us what this looks like.
So the way that it looks is that I just get myself into a meditative state, and I just invite my guides in, and I ask my clients to invite their guides in. And then all of the guides, or some or all of the guides, may communicate with me during a session, and they pass messages to me that they want the client to know. And the messages can come in. So I say the visual messages, I don't see them with my real eye. It's not like in the movies where you just like see a ghost in front of you, and Whoopi Goldberg's like, you in danger, girl. It's like, but it's my inner eye.
Sure,
right?
sure,
so
sure.
It kind of looks. It's my sixth
chakra.
My sixth chakra.
Yes.
And so it kind of looks like, when you're imagining something, or when you see something in a dream, it's that same type of seeing, right? Sometimes I'll hear something and it's the same. I don't hear a disembodied voice speaking to me, although some people do. I hear it with my inner ear. Sometimes I just have a knowing. There have been a couple times I've gotten a sense, an olfactory message.
Something that you smell.
I smell something, and then anyway, that's only happened a couple times.
That sounds incredible, though.
So I get messages that the guides want the client to know. Like they haven't been doing enough self-care lately, or they need to contact a certain person in their life, that has a message for them, that communication is going to be important. Or gosh, I get all kinds of messages. Sometimes messages about people's physical health. I'm not such a medical intuitive. That doesn't seem to be one of my stronger gifts at this point anyways. Right. But sometimes, so the messages can be all kinds of things, and always for the client's benefit.
Good.
Yeah.
Has there been a time where it's felt like it was something that you brought up to them and they were like, I don't know,
Sure.
I'm just curious in the sense of, how they believe or buy into this, or really take it account, taking that knowledge accountable to themselves, I guess.
Right. Well, first of all, people who aren't believers just don't come in for sessions. They don't want to spend the money.
Right.
So occasionally I get people who come in because, their friend said, oh, you have to go see Jennie. And those people might have a healthy skepticism is how they often describe it. And what I'll tell those folks is, if you have even just a small part of you that feels open to believing in this kind of thing, let yourself rest in that small part of you for this session. Let yourself be with that openness, with the possibility that this could be of benefit to you. And then we'll just see where it goes from there.
Right.
So occasionally, totally. And another thing that I learned in school that I find to be so true is that our energy flows through our openness, our playfulness, right? If we're feeling very rigid, energy is not going to flow. It's the same. Anybody who's ever tried to make any kind of art knows that this is true.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right? If you're trying to get it perfect, it's not going to be. If you allow yourself to be open, allow it to flow through you, then you'll have something beautiful, whether it looks like what you expected or not, right?
I work with clients on a day-to-day basis who play guitar, have a sense of expression that way, and when they're trying to perform or hold themselves accountable to a standard, it just does not work at all. Like they'll forget the lyric, they'll forget the notes, or just be to the point where it's like the creative expression isn't being creative. It's just like an expression because I have to.
Right.
So I appreciate that essence of like energy because it makes sense to me. I think I'm bringing that into the session for sure. Like regards of like, if you're rigid, how can you truly, perform, form or perform anything? I get that.
Yeah. And everything's made of energy.
Yeah.
Right. We're energy. The things that we say and hear are a form of energy.
Yeah.
Right. The money that we exchange for these sessions that we offer is a form of energy. All of it. So
Agreed.
we in our society, I think we've done a great disservice that we're told to only believe the things that we can tangibly see, and scientific
Facts.
evidence, and there's so much going on that we can't necessarily prove with the kind of limited human mechanisms that we've discovered so far.
I agree.
But why limit ourselves?
Yeah, no, I feel like I had that kind of more of the mentality before I moved to Boulder.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me
and
too.
and
Me
now
too.
that I'm here and I've worked with clients outdoors, especially, I mean, just to see the power of like being in nature and going through experiences and bringing in objects like rocks to talk about metaphors. These people are like, oh my God. And I'm like, I just came up with that shit on the spot. And they're like, whoa, dude. Like my mind is just blown. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
And what enables you to come up with this amazing thing on the spot that was so helpful? Your openness.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Like my lack of judgment of myself, self-compassion to try something and allow myself to do it. So yeah,
Beautiful.
I agree 100%. Before we wrap up, Jennie, tell people how they can find you, where you're at, and if you want to drop any resources for anybody as well, I think it'd be great too. And we attached a link down at the bottom there. Y'all can see a attachment to Jennie's articles on our website, which she's working on right now, actually, which we're super stoked about. If she wants to disclose and drop the information of what she's doing it on, sure. If not, you can just find it when it drops. But anyways, please tell us where we find you, where you're at, where we can expect to contact you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Totally.
So yeah, my website is Owl Wisdom Healing. Owl like hoo-hoo.
Not hoo-hoo in the URL, but like an owl who's.
Yeah, Owl Wisdom Healing, because there's an owl that is my spirit guide that's with me every time I practice Reiki.
Heck yeah.
There's a little story about that on the website you could read if you want to.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so people can contact me through my website. You can learn more about my different offerings, read some articles. The article that I'm working on right now, since you alluded to it,
Sorry, I couldn't not. You gotta get people hyped,
Totally. Well, I'm excited about it.
Good.
It's about this mantra that I've been using in my life for the past few months, and it's a really, really powerful mantra. It's changed my life in ways that I'm still processing and integrating. And it's a phrase that we all know. It's I don't know. Right? And how can we be comfortable with the fact that we just don't know? How can we be comfortable with the liminal space, with uncertainty in our lives? And so I try and explain just some practical tips for using this mantra and how it can benefit you, and where we can kind of get like stuck when we assume that we do know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I connect with that for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're writing about it, because I feel like more people should.
Oh, thank you. And not on my website yet, but soon to be. I'm going to be doing some yoga and meditation videos, and maybe some other types of videos. So hopefully,
keep me in the loop.
Yeah, I'm going to keep you in the loop. Since you like my voice, found it calming.
Yeah.
I'll record a Go to Sleep Elliot video for
I love it. That makes me so happy. Awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
Any other places to reach out?
Yeah, well, I'm here in Boulder at the Boulder Healing Hub,
which
I know that your followers have heard about before.
Yeah, it's very familiar.
Yes. And I also do long distance sessions, so I'm happy to set up video conferencing sessions with clients anytime they need. And if people want to give me a call, my phone number is 720-442-2439.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, you know where to find her, everyone. Definitely reach out. Jennie, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Wonderful.
Yes, this is great. You killed it. Love it. Everyone who viewed, thank you so much for tuning in. The Head Therapist is out. Peace. Catch you later.